Hey everybody, happy Thursday afternoon. We're of course here with a new episode for you. I know I look and sound like a overworked, overtired mongoloid with a guinea t-shirt, wife beater on because I just got out of bed. I'm here uploading today's episode and I found out that we lost like the first 13 minutes of it, which isn't the end of the world. Me and Nick were kind of just talking about the difference between jelly, jam, and marmalade, which is interesting. I guess you can Google it. Don't worry about it. However, in that part of the conversation, he does set up kind of the rest of the episode, and I wanted to clear that up for you now because if you were to just jump in now, it's just us talking about tons and tons of drugs, and I want to let y'all know where Nick got so much of this knowledge from. He went to the new school here in New York City, where, as he explained to us, it's a pretty liberal school. You can kind of take your major whichever way you want. You can kind of learn really specific. You can pick a really specific area of study. And for him, he was a psychology major, but he wanted to study the effect of psychedelic drugs, not only on the mind in general, but for people with mental health issues and how it's kind of being used today, right? Like psilocybin and MDMA and ketamine are kind of being used as experimental drugs for people who have mental health issues. So that's kind of where we are in the conversation once I shut up right now and the episode actually starts. I just wanted to set that up for you. Thank you all so much for tuning in and enjoy.
All right, we're back.
Hell yeah.
There was a battle we had to fight outside.
Well, these crackheads came in.
Yeah. Can we talk on the microphone? So the other podcast we do in a park, me and my buddy Jake.
Yeah, I've seen some episodes.
And we did it at, I forget the name of the park, but it was only junkies.
Really?
Only crackheads and junkies.
Let me guess, Tompkins.
I think it was. Lower East Side, right?
East Village.
East Village, yes. That's exactly where we were.
Yep, that's where all the crust punk heroin addicts hang out.
Yeah.
And St. Mark's as well.
People were just coming up to us like, you got spikes? There were people like dealing heroin behind us.
Yeah.
And part of that show is he'll call people over and we'll talk to them.
Yeah.
And we were like, had to pick and choose. We're looking over our shoulder the whole time. There was like this couple. The lady was getting angry with us.
Yeah.
The guy grabbed the microphone from Jake. We're like, all right, we got to dissolve this situation. Yeah.
It's a crazy park, man.
Yeah, it's a wacky park.
Yeah, at one point, there's a subgenre of punk rock called crack rock steady.
Okay.
And it's like the most intense hardcore about like doing hard drugs like crack and heroin. And one of the guys from that band, I think the lead singer, Stizza Crack, yeah, fucking name. He performed in Tompkins for free. Just did a free show for all the junkies.
Okay.
With either Crack Rock Steady or no, with either a Leftover Crack or his other band, Choking Victim.
God damn.
And they just did a free show there. But they all love crack.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
By the name. Yeah, and so do the people there.
Yeah, they can't get enough.
So what's the deal with crack?
Crack is interesting.
Yeah?
I had a fucking crackhead on my stoop the other day.
Really?
Yeah, I just opened the door. They immediately went over to their fucking pouch of crack, and they were just like, "You're not going to fuck with my crack, are you?" And I was like, "I'm just trying to leave my home."
Yeah. You're like, ooga booga booga. You just scare the fuck out of him. Give me that crack.
Yeah, really. Crack is interesting. It's just coke.
It's just a fucking... What's the word I'm looking for? Amalgamated?
Yeah, coke and baking soda.
Ah.
But, yeah, it's no... I mean, it's only worse for you than coke because it might be cut with other shit.
Right.
Or it might be smoking it is probably worse for you than snorting it. Although snorting coke can lead to getting a hole, like a perforation in your septum
I've heard
bone.
of that.
Yeah.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, a lot of rock stars have gotten that and shit.
Yeah.
They can, like, put a string through and it comes out the other nostril.
Fuck. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah. But with anything, it's like the dosage makes the poison. So
right.
There's a level of all these things that you could do it with reasonable safety.
Right.
Yeah.
I was going to say it also matters the purity of it, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, whatever else is in it could fucking take you out.
Yeah, and so often the drugs on the street are not pure.
Yeah.
And I'm a big proponent of legal, like everything should be legal.
I agree.
There might be some certification system I think would work best, but I've heard arguments against that too, that it's not reasonable. And also just that you don't need that for alcohol, so why would you need that for crack?
Yeah.
They're both bad for you. They could both kill you. But it's like, I find it interesting that I think coke is one of the worst drugs for you even in safe amounts, more so than heroin or meth or anything like that, because like coke, even when you do it in safe amounts, it's usually taxing on your heart in a way that all these other things, they don't have components to them that tax you even when done safely.
Right.
But there are people in like South America that chew coca leaves, and I
Sure.
think that's reasonably safe too, probably.
And you don't shut the fuck up either.
Yeah, it's fucking you take
You
an
ever
ear
around
beating.
Around a guy who won't shut the fuck up.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
There's the old trope of you start making business plans.
Plans to take over the world.
Yeah,
Yeah. I've never done any cocaine.
really.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have guessed it.
Because these big nostrils I got.
You look like you have an ounce of coke under the hat.
Yeah. Just a big bag of coke. Yeah. No, I haven't. So would you say that you've done a lot
Yes.
in terms of like your own experimentation?
Yeah, not of coke specifically.
No, I'm talking about just drugs.
Yeah.
You've tried a bunch.
A lot of different drugs.
Yeah.
Tried about 70 different drugs. Yeah. Man, most people hear that and they're like, I didn't know there were 70 drugs.
Yeah. Just a whole bunch of letters put together.
Yeah, most of them
Yeah.
are a bunch of letters and numbers.
Wow.
Just don't have slang names yet.
So, what are there any that you haven't tried that you're like, I would give that one a go?
Yeah.
Because
there's-
70 is fucking a lot.
Yeah.
Like, what isn't in there?
Yeah, there's probably about 10 that
Yeah.
are like, maybe more, that if like I was sure I got pharmaceutically pure stuff, that
Yeah.
I would try it. Like, I've never tried heroin,
Mm-hmm.
crack, meth, or real PCP.
Okay.
But that's
There's 70 more
caveat.
than that?
Huh?
Yeah, 70 more than that. You're talking to a guy who doesn't even smoke weed.
Oh, wow. That's
Flintstone
crazy.
vitamins as deep as I'll go.
I went
Yeah,
hard
yeah.
on those as a kid. When I was like 4 years old, I locked myself in my parents' bedroom and ate a whole bottle of Flintstones vitamins.
Fuck. What happened? Anything?
No, I think that's why I'm so tall. But I don't know.
Yeah, you just felt good.
Yeah, exactly.
You're
I
like,
was
"Whoa."
like, I don't need fucking vegetables ever.
Yeah.
And it's good because now I don't eat vegetables. So
Yeah. Lettuce is bullshit.
yeah.
I agree. I like.
What am I, a turtle?
Yeah, I don't. I mean, if I'll eat a salad, like a nice fucking Caesar or whatever, and it's
Yeah.
good. Like, but if I get a burger, I don't want lettuce.
Really?
I don't want lettuce on a burger. I don't want lettuce. Sometimes I guess in a taco's fine.
Yeah.
Depends the taco.
It's the one thing I'll put on a burger.
Lettuce.
Yeah, because I don't like tomato.
Okay.
I don't like
No
any
pickles?
sauce.
No
I don't
sauce.
like pickles.
Wow.
I'm fucking crazy, man. I don't like ketchup. Anything
No
like
ketchup?
that.
I hate
No.
ketchup.
Right?
Yeah.
It's
I can't even
fucking-
smell it.
Yeah.
Fucking-
Do
Interesting.
you like pickles though?
No.
Interesting. Is
I
it
don't-
the vinegar?
Whoa,
Hey,
relax.
It could be. It could be. Or like when they make your fries soggy.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't like that either, man.
And they play the music real loud.
Ooh, this is getting racist. They start talking during the movies.
That's what this podcast is. That's what podcasts are.
They
You're
start
not-
smoking crack on your stoop.
have you not listened to Come Town? Racist and gay. That's it.
Don't forget retarded.
That's right. That's
You
right.
gotta have a little retardation.
Right.
So 70 drugs.
70 drugs.
70 different drugs.
Those are the few I haven't tried. I would try all of them except crack.
Okay.
Because crack is just coke.
Yeah.
Via a different, you smoke it instead of snorting it.
Have you seen the video of the like NASA, the guy in NASA? He was like a NASA physicist, but he smokes crack, and he's super candid about it. Like,
Really?
When he's sitting there talking about it, he's well spoken.
Yeah.
He's got glasses. You know, whatever. He looks like a fucking smart physicist guy.
Yeah.
And the guy's asking him about it, and he's like, "Yeah, I like smoking crack. I smoke
Yeah.
crack and build spaceships." And he's
Wow.
like, but he was very educated. He's like, "Yeah, it's not good. Don't do it.
Yeah.
But it's the fucking best."
Well, I love those kind of stories because you don't hear a lot of them. There's one
Yeah.
other guy that's big like that. He's a professor at Columbia.
Yes, Dr. Carl Hart.
Dr. Carl Hart
that
does
guy.
heroin
Yes.
recreationally.
Yeah.
And it's like he knows it's pure heroin, so it's safe enough.
Yeah.
And he knows the dosage that he's doing and how he's doing it. But I love those stories because it's like people like to think that there are drugs that will ruin your life no matter what.
Yes.
And that seems to not be true in any regard. It's like maybe there's a drug that will be neurotoxic no matter what, but it's probably not going to be used very much. Like all the drugs, like heroin you could use it safely. It's one of the most safe drugs for your body. Like a safe amount of heroin is way better for you than a safe amount of cocaine.
Right.
And it's like,
And why is that?
it's just because of the way it acts in the body. Like heroin's non-toxic essentially, whereas cocaine is cardiotoxic. It hurts your heart no matter what, pretty much. And it's like, the only problem with opioids is when you overdose, and that can lead to be lethal.
Yeah.
But it's just very benign
That little,
on the body.
yeah, that little.
You don't say.
You just step over that. Well, you can you overdose.
Yeah, I used to have a joke that kind of worked that in, where it was like, opioids are very safe unless you overdose.
Yeah.
There's something about that. It was a funnier turn.
It does sound funny.
Yeah.
It sounds funny.
There's a funny premise there.
We believe you.
You better come to see me live.
We only bring unfunny comedians on
Yes, yes. That's why you had beep.
Yeah.
We named 10 unfunny comics.
Yeah. The last 10 that have been on.
But yeah, man, I mean, it's just like the same reason that mushrooms happen to be very safe for the body.
Right.
Certain drugs just are.
Yeah.
Certain drugs are more toxic than others.
Well, the cool part, I meant to say it before when you were talking about Dr. Carl Hart.
Yeah.
That NASA guy.
Yeah.
The funny part about the interview is it concludes, and then it's just like a black screen with words, and it says that he died like shortly after that interview from smoking crack.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but he was smart in the interview. And
Yeah.
people watch it on Facebook now. So
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
guess it doesn't make you dumb, but it can kill you.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I remember watching because we were talking about Vice. Vice would do a lot of drug stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember learning about, as a kid, I remember learning about crocodile.
Crocodile, yeah.
That shit is fucking, that rots your body off, right?
Yeah, and I've never known, I haven't done the research into it. I think it was a drug called dihydrocodeine.
Okay.
Mixed with, like, it was made in a bathtub.
Nice.
So it's got probably a lot of cancer, or like not cancers, but toxic byproducts in there as well. So maybe on its own, dihydrocodeine might be safe, but the way they're making it, at least,
In Russia.
no good.
Yeah. Those Russians always go hard
Yeah, really.
in everything.
Yeah.
So they're like, we're going to make drug that you lose limb.
Yeah, you get the reptilian skin.
yeah. You can fuck bear better than we already do.
Yeah, really. Yeah, there are a lot of weird stories like that. Like the bath salts thing was huge too.
Right.
The guy in Florida did bath salts and ate his friend's face. I think we have a comic friend who knew that guy.
Really?
Yeah, or knew the friend, knew one of them. I forget who it is, but one of these Florida guys.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Holy fuck.
I'm sure we could ask around and quickly find out.
Wow. What? But bath salts are what? Like.
It's a drug called, well, bath salts for a long time has been just a name that the government gives to any designer drug to be able to make them all illegal without learning about them.
Gotcha.
There's this whole law right now called the Federal Analog Act, where anything that is a slight chemical variation of an illegal drug is automatically made illegal without testing it to see if it has the same risks or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's just a way to make shit illegal so they can arrest more drug addicts. All of those are generally named bath salts.
Oh,
But
interesting.
the one that was common, in this case at least, was MDPV. Similar to like MDMA, but this is, instead of being MD methamphetamine, this is MD pyrovalerone. There's
Okay.
this whole class of stimulant drugs called pyrovalerones that are extremely addictive, like more addictive than crack. You smoke most of them, and they lead to stimulant psychosis more often than most other stimulants because of the fiendish nature of them, and people just do so much and stay up for days.
Damn.
And this is the strongest one that was on the markets, at least, MDPV. And when they made that illegal, from what I've heard, it feels like crack and Molly mixed together or something like that. Yeah, really.
Of course you're eating someone's face. I'm on crack and Molly.
Yeah, crack a Molly.
Give me that face.
Yeah. I want to suck your lips right off.
Yeah. What's his name? Rudy Eugene.
They're going to say Giuliani.
This Rudy Giuliani once ate a guy's face.
A bath salt zombie guy.
Bizarre and gruesome incident in Miami. Attacked and ate the face of another man, Roland Popo.
Yeah,
along the MacArthur Causeway. The incident sparked widespread shock and speculation about the cause of Eugene's behavior. Bath salts, synthetic drugs. Yeah, that's I mean, that sounds like Miami, though.
Yeah, really.
You know?
Yeah, they just had nothing going on.
Yeah,
like,
it's
oh, the
just-
concert got canceled.
Yeah.
Let's smoke some bath salts in each other's faces.
yeah. We go to the beach every day. Let's do something else. Yeah. We do blow and fucking drink martinis
Yeah, really.
already. Let's smoke some of this.
Yeah, those got made illegal at some point. They were in gas stations for a long time.
Okay.
But like any other designer drug, whenever one gets made illegal, they come out with the next one.
Yes.
And it's almost always a worse version of it in terms of the recreational effects and usually the safety profile. So MDPV got made illegal. They came out with APVP, which is a similar pyrovalerone drug. Almost the same effects, just lesser, little less intense than MDPV.
And you've tried all of these.
I've tried none of these actually because I was like, they're all more intense than crack, and I was like, well, I know I shouldn't try crack, so I should try none of these.
None of these, right?
Yeah, but I was on all these Reddit forums where these guys would post about all the designer drugs on the market, and they would talk about APVP, and when that got made illegal, that was Flocka. That was also in
Yes,
the news.
I remember hearing about Flocka.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Flocka replaced bath salts.
What's the other one? Trank?
Trank.
Trank is
Yeah.
like, that's kind of the same vein?
Yeah, it's one of these new sort of fentanyl
Okay.
mixtures.
Gotcha.
Instead of heroin was cut with fentanyl for a while. Now it's just fentanyl.
Now it's just
There's no heroin to be found really.
Whoa.
Yeah, and then they started mixing fentanyl with a drug called xylazine, which is trank. And
Okay.
the mixture is called trank because xylazine, it's kind of like Xanax, where it's like it's a sedative. Instead of like heroin, which is an opioid, this directly just sedates you like they would give you in a surgery setting.
Okay.
So the combination of the two, you get fentanyl addicts who are normally bent over at the head to now you get trank addicts who are bent over at the waist.
Whoa.
And that's why they look like zombies, because they're way more sedated than they used to be.
Okay.
And the combination of the two also leads to a greater instance of overdoses.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I do agree with you that, even though we've been talking about how awful these drugs are,
Yeah.
I do agree that it should be no business of the state
Yeah.
or government, especially since they sell us drugs
Yeah.
all day, every day,
Yeah.
constantly.
And none of them are good for us. Alcohol and
Exactly.
tobacco, 400 million deaths a year or whatever.
And pharmaceuticals.
Yeah, and
I mean, they're
pharmaceuticals.
selling those. And us in New Zealand are the only countries that legally can advertise them.
Yeah.
And we do it so much more than New Zealand.
Yeah.
Way more.
And we advertise shockingly addictive drugs.
That get pulled. I mean, what's the percentage on pharmaceuticals that get pulled?
Oh, man. It's got to
So
be
many
off
of
the
them.
charts.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it's on the charts, but it's got to be really high.
Fuck, we need another chart. we
Somebody
can't
extend
keep
the chart.
we can't keep these drugs. God damn.
But it's like I've seen ads for like amphetamines
Yeah.
for weight loss, not even for
Yes.
attention deficit or whatever.
Right.
But it's also so hypocritical
Hypocritical.
that we will illegalize certain drugs, but then we have similar things, if not the same thing, available in pharmaceutical form.
Sure.
Like we have heroin illegal, but pharmaceutical heroin, it's not real heroin, but essentially it is.
It's like a Xanax.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as far as amphetamines go, methamphetamine is illegal on the streets, but it is a class 3 drug, I think. It's not the most illegal because it's actually an ADHD medication.
Mm-hmm.
People say Adderall is basically meth. They actually have methamphetamine pills that if Adderall doesn't work for you and none of the other options work, they'll give you pharmaceutical methamphetamine pills.
Whoa.
They'll give it to kids.
Holy shit.
Yeah, for weight loss or for attention deficit.
Which I guess is better than getting street meth, right?
It is.
Yeah.
But it's also like, well, if we're going to
Come
give
on,
kids
smoke
meth.
this glass.
But you'd think we could give the meth heads some pharmaceutical meth.
Sure,
It'd
they
be a
should be
little
able to get it
safer.
too, yeah.
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 But we have this whole puritanical view of like, oh, well, they're doing it for fun. That's not okay.
Right. Yeah. But drinking for fun
Totally fine.
is awesome.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
as far as studies go, it's like alcohol results in far more deaths than meth does.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're not even talking about psychedelics, which
Yeah.
are, super vilified
Yeah.
until recently.
Yeah. They've been the highest level of full addictive potential, illegality.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
isn't it funny how they're not really that addictive?
No, they're anti-addictive in
Right?
most cases.
I mean, I'll do mushrooms and I won't do them again for months and months.
Yeah.
I'm not like, I got to do mushrooms.
No,
like,
mushrooms scare me.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, I haven't taken them in like 9 years.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did them like a dozen times, but I'm more of an acid guy.
Okay.
I just think it's a little easier to handle.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I've heard the opposite.
Yeah, it's longer, which makes it tough.
Well, I've heard, I got a buddy, two of my buddies who, if I do trip, I usually trip with them.
Yeah.
Because I've never done acid.
Okay.
And one of my buddies, he likes acid because there's none of that bullshit that happens with mushrooms where you're yawning and you're like,
Yeah.
and you're like, you get that tired, like I don't even feel like tripping.
Yeah.
It's that weird feeling you get. He's like, you don't go through that with acid.
Yep.
It
And that's
kinda
what I
just-
hate about mushrooms.
What do you mean?
That hour when
Yes.
you're first coming up
Yes.
and you're losing your sensation of having boundaries to your body, but
Mm-hmm.
you're not fully gone yet. So whenever I would take mushrooms, I would smoke DMT on the come up. Just so like I'd start feeling the shrooms, I'd hit the DMT pipe and I'd just be gone. And then I come back and I'm like, okay, now I'm used to this.
Holy fuck. Damn.
Yeah.
So that's like the NOS button.
Yes.
Wow.
Speaking of NOS,
Yeah.
that's also another way to get into that moment of like, oh, now I'm in it. I'm fully tripping.
Okay.
And not in that mediary area.
So like caffeine? Is that
No,
what you mean?
I'm thinking like actual nitrous oxide.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, whippets.
Gotcha. I was thinking of the energy drink.
Oh, yeah. No.
NOS
Yeah, I
energy
drink a
drink.
rock star. Then I'm fucking gone, man.
Nitrous oxide, that's the shit the dentist gives you.
Yeah, laughing
Okay.
gas.
Laughing
or
gas.
whippets, too. Yeah.
Whippets,
They're all the
okay.
same thing.
Interesting.
But that's another one that's heavily maligned because people are like, "Oh, you're inhaling it. It's killing brain cells," which almost every inhalant does do that. But nitrous oxide is safe. It's like that's why the dentist gives it to you.
Right.
But they also have another one called xenon, which is
I think I've heard of xenon.
yeah. There was a Hamilton's Pharmacopoeia episode of that too.
Okay.
It's very expensive, which is why it's not used in dental settings. But it's safer than nitrous oxide even.
Wow. Okay.
Yep. And it has that same, like, it's almost ketamine-like, but it lasts like 60 seconds. And if you do like nitrous oxide on a psychedelic, it ramps it up to like 10 times the intensity for like 5 minutes. And then you come down and you're like, you've already been so far out that you're like, I'm basically sober now.
Whoa.
Even if you're still on an eighth of mushrooms.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's nuts. So you can be like, you can come back from that and still be on mushrooms and be like, well, this is fine.
Yeah, it's a lot less intense than it was 5 minutes ago.
Wow. Interesting.
That's what I liked about the DMT too. Was like I would smoke DMT and then come back, and I'd still be on shrooms for another 4 hours or so. But after being in that DMT space, being on an eighth of shrooms is like you're so far lower than where you just were that you're like, this is so easy to handle.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like if you're going from sober to shroomed out, it's a lot to handle.
Yes.
It's a sudden jarring change.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember I would, this is also when I worked at Mohegan Sun. I would take mushroom, like, before work.
Yeah.
I would take, like, a microdose.
Yeah.
Like, a little something, and then I would do, like, a double espresso. And I'd be fucking on fire.
Yeah.
Like, a Tuesday morning. I'm like, I'm sharp as hell. Nobody's fucking with me today.
Yeah, really.
It was like a nice little push for the
Do
beginning
you think you
of the
could have got there with just the espresso though?
day. No. I wanted the tinglies.
Sounds pretty common.
Yeah, it sounds like espresso. Maybe a little more creative.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, you do feel perceptive when you take
Yeah.
like a microdose of mushrooms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that microdose to like mini dose range,
Yes.
where it's like you feel it a little bit,
Yes.
but not enough to be like I'm having difficulty maintaining myself in public.
Yeah.
I love microdosing acid,
Okay.
and I do the similar thing with coffee. Where I recently, when I was like trying to come up with ideas for comedy on my days off, I would take like 15 micrograms of acid, 15 to 25, and it's like a quarter tab to a sixth of a tab. So it's like very little, but you do feel it. And I wouldn't eat all day. And I would drink 2 cups of straight black coffee.
Nice.
And by like 8 hours into that, I'd be like crawling around the floor, just like, what am I? I'm an animal. We're all animals.
This is nuts.
Life is just wasting time between meals.
Yeah, exactly. It's just time spent between drug scores.
Yeah,
Pretty
really.
much. Yeah, fuck yeah. I love caffeine and nicotine.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not the first guy to come up with that.
No.
Oddly enough.
Adderall, too. Adderall with nicotine and
Okay.
caffeine. Have
That
you ever done
sounds nice.
Adderall?
I took an Adderall once.
Okay.
And it didn't do it. Maybe I have ADHD and it just worked.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like,
You would still feel it, probably.
really, yeah.
Yeah.
I felt like it maybe wasn't enough.
Maybe not. Do you
Yeah.
know how much it was?
Maybe does 2 milligrams sound right, or is that a lot?
2 is nothing.
Okay.
5 milligrams would make more sense.
Yeah, maybe it was something like that.
Okay.
Yeah,
5 or
yeah,
10
yeah.
is usually a low dose.
Yeah, I took one and it didn't do anything.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard some people who are like 5 milligrams, they won't really feel it. They might get a little bit more focused, but that's it.
Yeah.
But I used to take it in college, and like my whole last year of college, I was on it just to like get my GPA up before I finished school. And it's a fucking wonder drug, man.
Really?
Yeah. I don't think it would be great for creative arts, but it's like for just reading and writing.
Just banging shit out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty
Just
fantastic.
cramming, which is what college is.
Yeah, yeah, really.
Just bullshitting for 4 years.
Yeah, really. And then doing an inhuman amount of work sometimes.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, dude. I mean, you feel good
Yeah.
when you're doing it. And, when you're in school, there's like a thing that, I don't know, I guess you feel productive.
Yeah.
And you're still young, so it's like you feel like you have a real place in the world, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then you graduate and you're like, fuck.
Yeah, I have no community anymore.
Yeah, exactly. It's like basing your life off of a movie.
Yeah. I was walking around the village the other day being like, I walked past my old college and I was like, could I go in?
Yeah,
Could I like sit somewhere where I feel like I belong?
Yeah, you're like, oh. You're just touching fucking students' faces. You're like, I remember.
I want to eat this.
Yeah.
Comedy's kind of like that though.
Yeah.
Stand up.
Yeah. Well, because we're all bums.
Yeah, we're all bums. We have no one else.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, going to the tiny cupboard and just hanging out all day, you're like, I
Yeah.
feel like I kind of belong here.
Yes. Well, comedy, I mean, you can get. That's the place to go if you don't fit in anywhere.
Yeah.
If you're just some weird fucker.
Yeah.
Nobody like. I mean, I guess that's the case with a lot of arts, but definitely in stand-up because there's no. Funny's funny.
Yeah.
Like if you're making music or if you're making art, you can be a little obscure.
Yeah.
And people get by, even if they're like, I don't get it, but he's a musician.
Yeah.
Stand-up is like, if you're funny, you're funny. You can.
Yeah. Any
You're welcome.
kind of person too.
Yeah.
It's like you don't have to be any specific thing.
Yeah.
All you got to do is have been funny in your life.
Yeah, exactly. At least someone had to have told you that you were funny once.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, I can be a stand-up. Which is, I mean, you're not that far off. It's so funny when people are like, it's that old thing when they're like, comedians are upholding free speech and they're the bear, and no comedian will agree with you on that.
No.
And if they do, then they're a fucking idiot.
Yeah. There's that whole Norm Macdonald thing about, they say the comedian's the modern day philosopher. How do you feel the modern day philosophers feel about that?
Yeah, exactly. What an insult to them.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
What an insult to Jordan Peterson.
And what's that dude? Slav. The dude who's like, well, and then we have to. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know this guy.
Look up, what's his name? His last name's Zizek. Zizek.
Ramaswamy?
He had, this dude, him and Jordan Peterson had like a, this dude, Slavoj Zizek. You've had to have seen him. He, The Pervert's Good. What the fuck? What's the name of that book?
Oh, I've seen this fucker.
This guy, right? Yeah. He's always like, and then he's always playing with his nose. He's very fidgety. But he had like a big, I've been meaning to listen to it, like a big public debate with Jordan Peterson.
Interesting.
Yeah. I don't know exactly how it went, but I feel like they probably have competing views.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I don't know where I saw him. Maybe it was Rogan or something like that.
Maybe this guy's been on there, but he's a lot on Instagram. Like if you do like if your algorithm is like philosophy stuff,
Yeah.
he might pop up somewhere.
It was all Stoic quotes for a minute there.
Oh
so
yeah,
it could have been
Stoic
him.
quotes.
He could have come up.
Yeah, hell yeah. Well, you read some of that stuff.
Yeah, I find it very interesting.
Yeah. Who is there like anyone that you like in particular? Like a philosophy that you think is interesting?
Yeah, I think Taoism and Stoicism kind of encapsulate all of it. And there's stuff that's close to that. Confucianism's kind of close. It's sort of its own unique thing. Zen Buddhism feels like it's the cheap offshoot of Taoism.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, I don't really read much. I
Sure.
ought to read way more. But I just watch fucking animated YouTube videos on these guys.
Those are just as good.
Yeah, there's
You
this
know?
German dude called Einzelgänger or something like that, and he does all these things about like Taoist philosophy stuff.
Okay.
So he'll have like let it flow, and I'll be like, that looks fun. I'll listen to
Yeah.
that and get inspired.
Yeah.
And
I'll
then it's
smoke a
like-
joint and watch that.
Yeah, really. He'll be
Yeah.
like, be like water, and I'll be like, yes, be like water in my bong.
When you
So-
put it in a bong, it becomes the bong.
Be like water, full of resin.
Dirty.
Oh, there's my bong.
Broken again.
That's why I don't buy bongs anymore. I've broken too many.
Oh man.
Yeah.
The piece.
Yeah.
The fucking, what's that called? The
stem.
slide.
The slide, yeah.
Yeah.
I've broken a lot of those.
The slide whistle.
That's
Smoke out of that thing. It's like a gravity bong.
Dude, I saw an Instagram reel of a guy who turned a fleshlight into a bong.
Oh.
Yeah, he put a
Hopefully
bowl
a
attachment.
new one.
He used a million times. He put a bowl attachment in the end, and then he
Yeah.
inhaled through the pussy.
Oh.
But what was great was he would spread the lips to hit it and just get a bigger hit. It was fantastic. That guy, shout out.
That is great. That sounds like something I've seen.
Yeah.
Was it one of the ones that was like molded off the like a certain porn star?
Oh, probably. I have one of them. I think it was Stoya. Some porn star named Stoya.
Stoya.
Yeah. I'm not into porn stars. I'm all amateur.
Yeah, I barely watch. That's a bad addiction. We're talking about
Porn?
drugs. Porn is fucking
Oh,
horrible,
yeah,
dude.
dude. People getting destroyed.
Yeah, that's a bad one.
Yeah.
I was one of them.
Yeah. And then you combine them with drugs, it's even worse.
Yeah, drugs that don't make your dick work already.
Yeah.
And then you're fucking beating your shit. That's the thing about mushrooms is your dick is like impossible. It doesn't. It just.
They're going to say huge.
Yeah. Holy fuck.
It's 4 feet tall.
God damn, third leg. Yeah. Yeah, porn is fucking. That's not good.
No, jerking off on psychedelics is pretty crazy, too.
You can do that?
Yeah. I've done it a couple of times.
Really?
Some wild experiences.
Holy shit.
I jerked off on 3 tabs of acid once.
How long does it take?
Dude, like 20 minutes. I was just watching porn and I was like about to come and I just saw arrows like shooting from my groin up my dick.
Whoa.
And it was like basically like about to be liftoff. And then I came and it was just like an explosion.
It's like one of those racing games where you go over the arrows
Exactly.
to make you go faster.
It was exactly like that.
like Mario Kart.
And I was like, turbo boost.
Yeah. Holy fuck.
Another time I was on this research chemical called 4-fluorinated amphetamine.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a 50-50 mix between amphetamine, like Adderall, and Molly. You get some of the feelings of Molly, but a lot of the speediness from Adderall. And I went to a Streetlight Manifesto ska concert in Manhattan. Then I went home after. I was like, I'll go hang out with my roommate. My roommate fell asleep right the fuck away. So I was like, I'll go jack off for 4 hours. So I went to jack off. But before I did, I snorted a drug called 2CB,
Okay.
which is a research chemical psychedelic. It's kind of like a mix between acid and Molly. So mixed with this 4-fluorinated amphetamine, it makes for like it boosted the hallucinations you kind of get from Molly. And I started like getting a little bit of visual stuff going on. And 2CB is notable because the guy who invented it, crazy story about him I can get into, but he said it was like possibly out of like the 100 drugs he invented, they were all hallucinogens. This one might be the most aphrodisiac of all of them. It might have the most aphrodisiac qualities. He would always fuck his wife on these drugs and report back about how it was. Pretty sick. They were like 80.
Oh my god.
Just railing old puss.
Yeah, off high as fuck.
Yeah, off a drug he just invented.
I'm young again. I feel like a young boy.
Yeah, dude.
That's awesome.
It was great for porn. I know that much.
Yeah, you
And-
watch them.
Yeah, really. I found the videos.
Yeah.
But and Molly already makes you, or Molly doesn't, but amphetamine makes you want to jerk off just for the extra dopamine hit.
Wait. It makes you want to jerk off, or it makes you want to have sex?
Whichever one's more available.
Okay. It's
Me,
just like
always jerk off.
it's just like you want to jerk off. You want to
Get out
jerk
of here,
off.
women.
Yeah. She's like, I'll fuck you. No, I want to jerk off.
I need to come on the screen.
Yeah. Give me that sock. Yeah. I don't know anybody that comes in a sock.
No, nor do I.
No.
I know.
That's child's play.
Yeah, I've heard of guys who did it when they were a kid.
Yeah.
But not as adults.
Yeah. Come on your hand like a
Yeah.
fucking man.
You know, Jeffrey Asmus, the comedian, he would always hump his pillow.
Oh.
Like, even now, I think. He was like, yeah, I never got into, like, what, are you attracted to your hand? He was like, I don't get it.
You attracted to your pillow? Like,
Yeah, he
think
just
it's
has a
woman?
fuck pillow.
Holy fuck, that's a lady thing.
Yeah, really.
Ladies
Start
do
humping
that.
a pillow.
Yeah. I've jerked off to that.
Yeah, he kept a pillow under his bed all the time.
Oh my god.
Oh, but to finish the story, it was the most intense orgasm I ever had
Oh, yeah,
on this
yeah.
combo. Because,
Yeah.
like, I came and my vision exploded with fractals. Like, like I wasn't hallucinating much. Then I came and I just was hallucinating intensely.
Whoa.
It was like a sudden 0 to 3 tabs of acid. It was nuts.
Holy fuck.
I was nuts.
You got to do that next time while you hang yourself.
Yeah, there we go.
All of it, all together. Autoerotic asphyxiation with the with those two other fucking chemicals.
That would be
mixed in there.
perfect. No women.
Yeah, not a woman for miles.
Yeah, just to make it perfect.
You could do that on Twitch. You
Yeah.
could Twitch stream that
Yeah, really.
and make a living.
I've been thinking about Twitch streaming kratom capsuling because I capsule my own kratom.
Yes.
And I think it would be fun to be like, let's see if I could beat 20 minutes.
Now, what's kratom like?
It's an opioid. It's like the
Yeah.
least intense opioid. Like codeine is notably the least intense pharmaceutical opioid.
Okay.
But this is less intense than that. It's a plant from like Southeast Asia.
And you could just buy that anywhere.
Yeah, it's legal in
Pretty
most
much.
states. There are certain states that have made it illegal.
Right.
And the government's tried to make it illegal because like it cuts into pharma sales.
Of course.
Yeah, because like people use it to get off heroin.
Yeah.
And they should be using methadone or Suboxone, something that the government gets kickbacks from pharmaceutical companies for selling to them.
Well, that's the whole battle that psychedelics are fighting.
Yeah.
With the mental health.
Yeah.
Like you were, what you studied and shit. Because from what I mean, years ago we had a neuroscience professor from NYU on the podcast.
Yeah.
And he was talking about how MDMA, from what he's seen, is the closest thing to a cure for PTSD
Yeah.
than that he's ever seen. The closest thing to a cure, not a treatment.
No,
Like
that's
fucking.
that's
yeah.
the crucial part is like most of modern medicine has been finding treatments.
Yes.
There's always been conspiracy theories that like we don't have a treatment, we don't have a cure for cancer
Yeah.
because then we'll stop selling cancer meds.
Yes.
And it's like $1 billion industry.
It's probably true.
It probably is true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same reason we haven't gotten off fossil fuels.
Yes.
But it's like I think there's some level where you can't deny it. When it's privately funded that there's research about this stuff, like there's now enough exceptions to drug laws that you can research it. And there's enough private funding that it's being subsidized outside of the pharmaceutical industry.
Right.
And they're like, hey, this evidence is like too real to fight. And now they're like, all right, I guess we kind of have to make it a medicine. So they're going through all these clinical studies, but it's like an 80% success rate or something for treating PTSD.
Right.
And now they're finding all these other uses for it too.
Well, they have like I always heard about the ketamine breath spray.
Yeah.
And I know.
Or nasal spray, yeah.
Oh, the nasal spray,
Yeah.
right? And I know they have in Colorado. It's they opened a fucking you can use mushrooms to treat that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's decriminalized or legal, maybe.
Yeah.
It
I think they
legal.
might be legal now, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oakland too, I think.
Well, I know Portland. It's open everything.
Yeah.
You can do anything in
I
Portland.
think they're trying to dial that back now.
It's one thing if like a culture has never had drug laws.
Yes.
Like Spain.
Yeah.
or somewhere else that I'm not thinking of, where it's like everybody's used to it already. But when
Yeah.
you have people who have been under the thumb of a government, now it's legal.
Yeah.
Now we're just gonna fucking go hog wild.
Yeah.
You know.
Although it's funny because it's like I always think one of the best arguments for legalization is like the thing stopping you from doing crack is not that it's illegal.
Right.
It's that it's crack.
Right. Right.
So it's like you wouldn't have everyone flooding the CVS to get their legal crack. They would be like, you'd get some guys who already do crack, some guys who have been like, well, I've always wanted to try crack, but I've never had the opportunity. And then you'd get maybe some people who are like, yeah, I'm going to try it once and get really addicted.
I'm pretty sure somewhere in Canada, we can look this up too. There's like a store that sells cocaine.
I thought I'd heard that too, but I think it's been
You can-
disproved.
oh, my bad. You can buy. Oh, really?
Yeah, I think it's like
disproved.
decriminalized, where like if you have a gram or less, you're safe. Like you're not even going to get a ticket.
Yeah.
But if you have more than that, it's like you might get ticketed or arrested or something.
Can we find that? Look up if they can legally sell cocaine in Canada, or look up the store that sells cocaine in Canada. Because I'm going.
Yeah, really.
I am going to Canada this.
Yeah, when I
next
heard
month.
that, I heard Toronto.
Okay, Toronto. Yeah,
Do you know where in Canada, or just search Canada?
we can try Toronto. Because they're in shambles over Drake. Sunshine Earth Labs. Two Canadian companies, Sunshine Earth Labs and Adastra Labs, have received license from Health Canada to produce and sell cocaine, as well as other controlled substances for scientific and medicinal purposes.
That's the kicker there is scientific and medicinal purposes. It's not recreational.
Okay, so just a guy can't just go and be like, hey, I want to buy cocaine.
No, and like medicinal.
He's like, but it's for science.
Yeah, really. The science is like to do experiments and see how bad it is, and the medicinal is like probably for opticians because they use it even in America. Opticians use cocaine liquid to like numb or to dilate your eyes and numb certain things.
Well, they used to have like not Oragel, but like the tooth drops, the cocaine tooth drops for
Yeah.
little kids.
Yeah, and it got replaced by like lidocaine because it's a lot safer.
Right.
Yeah.
Damn, it's fucking bananas.
Yeah, old timey medicine's so funny.
Yeah, just drink this brandy.
Yeah.
Brandy was like the cure-all.
Yeah, they're like old cough syrups that are just heroin, chloroform.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Cocaine.
Everyone has typhoid. Everyone's just fucked up all
Yeah,
day.
really. It's like, well, you're gonna lose your legs, so you might as well.
Totally. So we've mentioned a lot about drugs.
Yeah,
We've gone like an hour on drugs.
it's easy to do. I have a wealth of knowledge.
It's true. But obviously you're a comic.
Yeah.
And but what I think is even more interesting, aside from all the stuff you know about drugs and you being a comedian,
Yeah.
is that you're a singer, or you were
Yeah,
a singer at one point.
yeah.
That's when you told me that, I was like, you're more of a bassist. I never would have thought.
Yeah, dude. I think I remember you telling me that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've gotten that elsewhere too, but yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So did you go, obviously before college, were you like in school for that, or did you take lessons and you just...
I did one semester in college at a choir college.
Okay.
And it was I got like the second biggest scholarship to go there or something like that.
Damn.
So it was a legit college, but I started really young. Like I was 7 when I started singing for money.
Whoa.
Like it wasn't much because I was 7, but I sang with a local church choir. And this church choir, it's called Trinity Episcopalian Choir of Men and Boys, something like that. They're losing
Especially boys.
I think that's part of why it's been falling out lately. I think
Okay.
COVID hurt a lot, and it's like it's tougher to get kids to do extracurriculars and stuff these days. But it was the best singing training in all of Connecticut, at least. It was like an incredible training experience to be able to sing choral and classical music, which is sort of like the basis of learning a theoretical approach to music to be able to do anything else you want to do. So I started there when I was 7, and I was in the boys' choir for about 6 years until my voice changed, and then I joined the men's choir, getting a steady pay raise as it got through the whole program. And then I did that till I was like 18. I sang in an a cappella group in high school. I had a band in high school. I wrote a few songs. It was like pop punk stuff, like Blink-182, Fall Out Boy, that kind of shit.
Nice.
I love that stuff.
Still?
Less so now. Fall Out Boy, I think, is the one that holds up the most, actually.
Okay.
Because the singer is fucking incredible. Some of the melodic structures in their songs are just, like, amazing. And just musically, it's a notch above all those other bands at that time. But I hit 16. I started smoking weed and getting into reggae.
Nice.
And then I was like, I don't want to be mad all the time, man. I want to be happy.
I've been listening to Junior Kelly a lot recently.
Junior, I don't know him.
What's the song? If love's so nice, tell me why it hurts so bad. That
Is it
one?
a recent guy?
No, this was, I think, 99 or 2000
man.
when it came out.
I'm surprised I don't know it.
Yeah, I fuck with that.
Yeah.
So what made you, I mean, why'd you switch to stand-up? Most people, you know, you do something from 7 to 16 or however long you did it. It's like, for you, seems like you like it.
I did like it. And I quickly fell out of love with classical music, first of all.
Okay.
So I went to college for a semester of that, and immediately I was like, oh, these guys actually like this.
So when you say singing classical music, is that like you're singing operas? You're singing like...
Operas, art songs are what
Okay.
they're called as well, like other types of classical music.
Gotcha.
Also like old school, you know, Bach, Beethoven, all
Real
that
old
kind of
school.
Yeah, real. Like 1400s old school. I guess
We're not
1600s.
talking Nas here.
You know, Bach right out of Queensbridge.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, dude, all that kind of shit. Choir music as well. Anything you'd hear in like any typical choral setting, all that kind of stuff for many years. And then hit college, realized I hated doing that stuff. I knew it before that too, but I was like, this might set me up to be able to make connections in this world, which will be useful for more contemporary stuff. Because what I really like is jazz. And I love jazz singing. I love a lot of other contemporary music styles, rock, shit like that. And like I had a reggae fusion band for a little while. We were recording an album, but we stopped at one point. And I liked all that kind of shit. But the reason I switched to comedy was because while music is fun, it was kind of two things. One, you can't be a solo musician very easily. You can, but then you have to play all the instruments. I really like singing more than everything else. I didn't want to focus on guitar that much or bass or drums. I could play them all a little bit because like I grew up also playing cello, piano, trumpet, all sorts of shit. But I wanted to switch to other styles of music first, but then I was like, I don't like relying on other people. So stand up, it's all you.
Yeah.
You can work when you want to work. You don't have to be like, hey, you guys want to work? Oh, no, I guess I'm going to dick around all day then and not get anything done. And also, the idea of music, you can create joy, but you can also create the spectrum of emotion. It's the whole spectrum.
Right.
At this point, philosophically in life, I think joy is superior to almost every other emotion. So it's like, I'd rather consistently create joy than every day have to go up and create sadness or anger or whatever other emotions are entailed by touring with songs that you wrote in different emotional states in your life.
Sure.
Unless I'm going to do fucking ska music and make all happy songs like Real Big Fish.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. So, did you come from a musical family? Because
Yeah.
that sounds like, okay.
Yeah, my mom was a voice professor.
Yeah.
And she just retired. She taught opera and classical music at
Okay.
Western Connecticut State University.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yes, because that's not a mistake.
Nah,
That you
definitely
end
not.
up doing that all that stuff.
No,
you
from a
know?
really early age, too. My
Yeah.
mom started me on cello when I was 4.
Yeah.
And then piano at 5, trumpet at 4th grade, whenever the fuck that was.
Now, what else is cool about stand-up? And obviously the main thing is joy and making people laugh.
Yeah.
But second best to laughs is like someone being like shocked.
Yeah.
You know, like
I do love that, too.
I love that.
Yeah.
You know.
But that makes other people joyous.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes the comedians like the
Yeah. And
the other
the
comics on the show are like, "Oh shit."
Yeah, really. And anybody else who's fucked up.
Yeah.
It's like I've been doing this 5-minute set on rape recently.
Oh yeah.
It's-
We talked about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, I started using some of those ideas actually.
Oh, nice.
And some of them have worked out. One of them didn't. The fictional story.
Yeah. I thought that was
like
so fun.
It is very fun. I wrote a good part for it, but it's like normal people. They're just like, It seems like you're having too much fun with this. Like you were kind of towing the line of like serious topic and also like real stuff about it.
Yeah.
To all of a sudden I'm talking about Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban and how he rapes Hermione.
See, that's fucking... Because to me, I mean, we were talking about philosophy a little bit.
Yeah.
For a while, before I read the Tao,
Yeah.
I pretty much subscribed to the idea of absurdity.
Interesting.
Like Albert Camus.
Yeah.
Which kind of bleeds into my stand-up.
Hmm.
Because sometimes I'll do something that just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Like I'm running a bit about how you can't use a straw because they're trying to save the turtles.
Yeah.
I'm like, turtles love cocaine. So, like, I don't know.
It's like a Stephen Wright bit.
Yeah, exactly. I love that kind of shit.
I love it too, man. That's how I
Yeah.
started out in comedy, was doing Mitch Hedberg style stuff.
Right.
And it's all just like, what if this thing we see is not as it seems?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I love that shit.
That's interesting anyway, like
Yeah.
across the board.
Absolutely. There's that one Stephen Wright joke. I heard this yesterday again. He's like, I landed in a plane. Forgot to unbuckle my seatbelt. I was dragging the plane through the entire airport.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that's just like, he's got those funny, I mean, one-liners, but the coolest thing about stand-up is when you can hit them when they don't see it.
Yeah.
That's the problem. That's one of the problems I have, and I'm sure other comics have.
Yeah.
Where you're toiling to try and find the sneak, like the sneak punch, the punch they don't see.
Yeah. Or to get to it before they do.
Yes.
Like if there's
yes.
too much fat, they catch up to you
Mhm.
before you can get to the turn.
Yeah, exactly. And that to me is like, I don't know. It bothers me when people are there before I am. So it's like,
As it should, because
Yeah.
that's where the punchline is.
Right.
It's like it's got to punch at that point.
right.
And if they're like, I saw that coming, then it's like a magic trick that they know the trick.
yeah.
Yeah.
But conversely, being extremely obvious is funny too.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about Norm,
Yeah.
the hypocrisy joke, for those of you who haven't heard it, where he's talking about Bill Cosby and how people say that the worst thing was that he was a hypocrite. And he's like, well, I think it was actually the raping. That's probably the worst part.
Yeah.
Where that's obvious, but that's, you know, it's funny as fuck. It's
Yeah.
also, it's, now what you said was you think joy is the most important.
Yeah.
Why do you feel that way?
I think ultimately life is meaningless, and given that, I think it is nihilism to think that, but I have sort of an optimistic twist on it, which is just that, like, given life is meaningless, we could die and that's fine, but if we're choosing to live, we might as well have as much fun as possible, because that seems like the only thing that's really worth enjoying is the spectrum of positive emotion. I think there is beauty to the other emotions, but I think there's no reason to maximize those emotions unnecessarily.
Right. That's a good point.
It's like when they happen, and you should try to appreciate it, but, I mean, have fun. I mean, good feels good.
Yeah.
So as much good as possible seems like the ideal.
Yeah, I suppose. But then in the I mean, to play devil's advocate,
Yeah,
that's just hedonism,
essentially.
right? It's
Yeah.
just, and most people learn more when they're fucked.
Yeah.
Not always. Sometimes people get fucked and they never get out,
Mhm.
and their fucking life is ruined. But
Yeah.
people who aren't idiots and
Yeah.
figure it the fuck out, you know?
Well, that's the thing is,
Yeah.
like, once they've figured it out, though, getting fucked doesn't really help them anymore.
Sure.
I think some people need to get fucked to find out.
Mhm.
Fuck around and find out.
Hey.
But then, once you've figured it out, you're like, okay, now I'm getting fucked and I already get it. I already get the lesson here, but it's
Sure.
still fucking me. And then at that point, it starts to be depressing.
Right.
But it's like, you say it's basically hedonism. I agree. I think hedonism should be more acceptable. That being said, I think what feels best is often misunderstood. Like, I originally, upon having this philosophy, I thought, well, what feels better than a ton of fucking drugs? Not much. And then after trying it, I'm like, oh yeah, actually, wholesome shit does feel better.
Right.
Like, ultimately, spending a night watching King of the Hill with the girlfriend you love is probably more fulfilling and happiness producing than playing Call of Duty alone on coke.
Sure.
which were two alternatives.
Yeah, that was Monday, Tuesday. You just back and forth.
Yeah, exactly.
King of the Hill, the lady, and then
It's A and B testing.
yeah. Fuck, I don't know. This is close. I kind of like doing both of these.
Exactly. I might have to do a detailed analysis.
Babe, how about we do both? Why don't you come over and
Yeah, what if we throw Coke into this King of the Hill cozy night?
Exactly. No, that's a good point. I understand. Yeah. It's just the because that's the whole philosophy thing, right?
Yeah.
Because there's the idea of hedonism is bad. Some people think that hedonism is bad.
Yeah.
And that stoicism is the right way to go about things. Bad shit happens. Who gives a fuck? Stare it in the face, and embrace the suck is what I get from stoicism.
And I think Buddhism, too, which is interesting because I think of that as the opposite of Taoism.
Well, Taoism is like don't think.
Yeah.
It's like just be.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the best.
I think so, too.
It's kind of the best.
And, like, do what you want to do, essentially.
Yeah.
What you want might change as you explore and discover different things about life. Like that, wholesome feelings are more fulfilling and happiness-producing than cocaine.
Mm-hmm.
That's something you might figure out, but he would just be, the Tao would just be like, oh, do coke if you want to do coke.
Yeah.
When you learn that, then do the other thing.
Right.
But Buddhism's like, life is suffering, embrace it, basically.
Oh, interesting.
And
Okay.
it's like, I don't think you need to capitalize the suffering in your life.
Yeah.
But it's whereas the Tao is kind of just like, oh, do what you please.
Yeah, kind of take it as it comes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's much different than Western philosophy in the
Yeah.
sense that Western philosophy is all based off of either essentialism or existentialism.
Yeah, and materialism.
Sure.
Where it's like, oh, yeah, try to be as happy as possible, but do it through buying shit.
Right. That's like the Osho.
Yeah.
The Osho was big on that shit. But I think that's what kind of drew me to the idea of absurdism, is that it kind of, even though it's like a branch off of existentialism, it kind of puts to the back of your mind some of the other shit that invades your brain space,
Yeah.
or invades your fucking thinking.
Yeah.
And Taoism is clearing all of that. So if Taoism's like here and existentialism's here, absurdity's maybe like here.
Yeah.
You know, like
It's a distraction, but by distracting yourself from existential reality, you are acknowledging that it's right there.
right.
Whereas,
Yeah.
well, Taoism's almost a full embrace of the fact that, like, yeah, you're here and then you die.
Mhm.
That's really all it is.
Yeah.
Existentialism, I think, is almost like, at least like puritanical existentialism. It's crazy because Norm was a big guy like that, where he's like, I don't like to have anything to distract me from the fact that I'd rather face death head on.
Right.
Knowing that it's coming and just not dulling it with drugs or whatever, although he was a hardcore gambler.
Yeah.
So he
big
was
time,
distracting it that way.
Right? Yeah.
But it's like, I think Taoism's a full embrace of that, where it's like, I'm not going to distract myself from it, but instead I'm going to, like, there's some Taoist quote where he's like, yes, acknowledge that life just is and dance with the music,
What
basically.
happens? Yeah. What's also interesting about Taoism and Buddhism is they don't give a fuck about words. They don't like words. They think that they're just tricks because we think we know what words mean.
Yeah.
We just say them a lot.
Yeah, in the
like-
sense that words are labels.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they're like, there's the thing and then the name for the thing.
Yeah.
And even that name is too much.
Yeah.
You know, like putting a name to everything. But then you think, like, you know, how are we supposed to communicate, you fucks?
Yeah, it is
What do you
essential.
want?
It is essential at some level.
Yeah.
I think there's a level where you can acknowledge that it is illusory, and it's like, yeah, I know it's all fake, but you kind of need it to survive. Similarly, I think it's almost like the concept of ego death with psychedelics.
Yes.
Where your ego can dissolve and you see the world not as a human perceives it through labeled objects and other things that are necessary for survival. Essentially, it shuts off your survival instinct and you see raw data as it is rather than as you filter it through your mind.
Sure.
And so the idea that's where the whole idea of like everybody is one, everything is one essence comes from. And that's sort of the same thing with like, it's good to know on some level, if that is what you believe, that everything is one and that there is no difference between me and you. But to survive, I need to know that I'm not you.
Right.
Or else I'll get hit by a car thinking that I'm still on the sidewalk.
Right. Yeah, Bill Hicks has a lot of good drug bits.
Yeah, drug
Yeah. Oh,
analogies. And,
so
yeah.
good, dude. He had the one where he's like, he was talking about how he was on mushrooms,
Yeah.
and he was talking about how mushrooms are illegal, and he's like, good, because there's such a detriment to this country. Because when I took mushrooms, I laid in a field of green grass for 5 hours, and I said, I love everybody. We're all one. Then he's like, what's that going to do to the arms industry when we find out we're all one?
Yeah, really.
That's going to really fuck up the economy. That's fake anyway.
Yeah, really. Then there's obviously the what about a positive drug story on the
Yeah.
news? A young man on acid discovers that everyone is made of the same shit or whatever it is.
Yeah. Here's Tom with the weather.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So good.
That was in every old Twitter picture on every hippie's Twitter.
Yeah. So fucking good. Or he's like the kid takes the acid and he jumps out to his death.
Yeah.
He thought he could fly.
Yeah.
Young man on acid jumps to his death, thinks he could fly. Fuck him. Why didn't he jump from the ground?
Yeah,
Why
really.
didn't he take off from the ground?
Such a good bit.
Yeah, dude, that guy, I mean, we were talking about him before we started, but that dude is like, none of his shit you're going to hear from anybody else.
Yeah.
He was incredibly original. You would listen to shit that he would say, and it's like, you're a hack.
Yeah.
You hear your own shit, and you're like, I've heard this before.
Yeah.
You
Like,
know?
I'm not saying anything.
Yeah. Which was interesting about him, because half of him was he's like, if you're not going to be funny, at least be interesting.
Yeah.
Which is kind of...
I'm with it.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, man, it's weird. I've been trying to, because I'm only a year and a half into comedy, I've been trying to identify factors that make up a good bit.
Mm-hmm.
That way I can analyze something before trying it on stage, because our stage time's so limited,
Mm-hmm.
that I'll know before taking it on whether or not it has a chance at even working.
Yeah.
And there's certain stuff where it's like, oh, this is never going to work, or at least work to the standard that I want it to, because it's not real in any way, or I'm not interested, or
Right.
nobody else is as interested as I am in some bullshit.
I
And-
love that.
yeah, so
I love
it's
just
like-
going for like 5 minutes on shit that people...
They don't give a fuck about.
I love it.
I was doing this whole thing on like, how do you think Hindu people feel about Americans and how we treat cows?
Yeah.
Because cows are their gods.
Right.
But we tip over their gods for fun. And like we eat their gods medium rare. And it's like nobody gave a fuck.
Nobody gave a
And
fuck.
I'm like, what, you guys don't care about cows? And they're like, no.
When Shub came on here, he told us that when he moved here from India, he moved to Texas,
Yeah.
where it's just all they eat is fucking
Yeah.
barbecue and cows.
For real, dude. What the fuck?
Crazy, right? That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, wrong place, man.
That's another group of people who got some good ideas. The
Texans?
yeah.
We're gonna reincarnate and shoot them.
Yeah. Fucking. We don't kill kids around here. It's not allowed.
We
don't-
just eat kid animals.
We don't kill the unborn here in Texas. You could go to jail for weed still.
Yeah, really.
Probably, right? I
Yeah.
don't know. Probably down there. Trying to guess.
I got weed in Texas once. Have you ever been to Texas?
No.
I went to San Antonio for this singing competition in high school,
Nice.
and I was there for 2 days, and I was so into weed, I was just like, I can't go 2 days without weed. So I tried to find weed. First thing, I went to a Hot Topic. I asked the person working the cashier
Yeah.
if she knew where I could get weed. She was like, no, but I saw a guy with a 420 tattoo walk to the back. So I went to that guy, and I was like, hey, you know where I could get weed? And he's like, I don't have any, but I'm actually meeting up with some friends to buy some soon.
Ah.
So I hung out with him. He's like 10, 20 years older than me. He's probably 30. I was 17. I go to hang out with him in the square, waited for his friends. His friends show up. They're all a bunch of like kind of skeevy, mid-20s, early 30s white dudes. Then like, all right, we're going to go get weed. We go to this, we'd walk a few blocks away, just get sketchier and sketchier. They go to an apartment building with like a gate out front. They pull the gate, and we sneak in through the side of the gate.
Whoa.
We go up in the elevator, the third floor. We get to this guy's door. The one guy who I met in the Hot Topic, he was like, all right, give me a second. He knocked, no response. Door was unlocked, so he just went in and closed the door. We were all waiting outside for like confirmation. He's like, all right, you guys could come in. We all come in. It's a studio apartment. There's like a 6-pack on the counter, but nothing else.
Yeah.
And a dude with a floor-to-ceiling graffiti, like not like vinyl. I forget what you call those.
Like
canvas,
a canvas, yeah.
floor to ceiling canvas. And this dude's asleep. The apartment owner is asleep on a mattress on the floor. I don't know the guy. I'm just standing in his apartment with 4 other dudes.
Yeah.
He wakes up. He's like, "Oh, what, you guys need weed?" He sells us
normal.
weed. And then we're all walking away. I get like a dub from them. And I'm like, all right, I got to go back to my parents. And they're like, all right, if you're free later, let us know. They give me their number.
Those early days of buying weed are hilarious.
Yeah, and it was the most trash fucking weed, too.
It was,
Yeah.
yeah.
I rolled up 3 joints of it and smoked all of them at once just because I wasn't getting anything. And then I went up to the top of the Tower of the Americas and just sat stoned looking out the side window.
Nice.
It was fun.
Did they tax you?
Probably.
Yeah.
It cost a lot. It was like probably $35 for the shittiest eighth ever.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Holy fuck. I remember when me and 2 of my friends, they're brothers, and they had an older brother, Alex,
Yeah.
who knew people that could get us weed. We were in high school, and he was like a grown man, and he would hit up his friends from high school, and we would go meet them. And we had a guy named Vamp, and this dude Vamp, we'd be in the car, like me and my 2 buddies, we'd be sitting there, and he would just come like from nowhere.
Yeah.
Knock on the window, like literally out of thin air. We'd be looking around. Where the fuck is this guy? Where is this guy? And then we'd look down for a second, and he knocks
Damn.
on the window, give us the bud, and he would. You ever watch the regular show?
No.
Skips the ape. See if you can find a video of Skips running. He would run off like this fucking little cartoon guy. It was hilarious. And his name was Vamp because there was a story that at a party that the older guy Alex went to when they were in high school, this dude ate some girl's pussy on her period and came out of the bedroom and had like blood on his face. And from then on, he was just called Vamp.
Wow, that's awesome, man. Great way to get a fucking nickname.
And here's another crazy thing. That guy, yeah, that's it. Hold on. Let's put it up on the thing. It's fucking great. He would run off like we'd be like, yeah, that's Skips.
2 steps on the right foot, 1 on the left.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
That's awesome, man.
He and he would always give you like if you ordered like a quarter, he
Yeah.
wouldn't give it to you in one bag. He'd be like, here's a bag. He'd like give you a bag and then like look around. And then give you another bag.
Oh my god, dude.
I'm like, what the fuck, guy?
Did
Just
you
give
ever
me
have
this weed.
Did you ever have a guy who would give it to you without a bag? Like either
Yeah.
raw in your hand,
yeah.
or like in like a Pepsi cup or something like that
like
from
a
a
notebook
fast food
paper.
place.
Notebook paper. people
Notebook
would do.
paper?
Folded a certain way.
That's great.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I used to totally not ship drugs in the mail.
No, you knew
by-
some guy that did.
Yeah, I knew a guy who
Yeah.
would ship drugs in the mail,
Yeah.
and he would fold it between paper. And like, I learned actually this way to fold paper. It's called a druggist fold.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
you heard of that?
Yeah.
Dude, my science teacher in high school taught us this shit.
Yeah. a
And it was for
druggist
like
fold.
yeah, it was for like chemistry or something.
Yeah.
And you fold it into like thirds, and then thirds the other way.
Yeah.
And then you could fold in a way that it just stays closed.
Exactly.
Fucking sick. I used that so much. I mean, that guy I knew.
That guy. Yeah, that other dude.
You fucking
Mick Narmer.
I've looked into the statute of limitations, and I think it's
Okay.
5 years.
Oh, so it might
So
be
I'm
good.
safe.
Yeah. Yeah, those were fucking hilarious. There was another guy. His name was Pill. He didn't sell anything else but weed,
Wow.
but his last name was Pilario.
Oh wow.
So Ant Pill.
Yeah.
Anthony was his name, and he would always, anytime you saw him, he'd call you buddy or guy
Yeah.
or pal. So I saved him in my phone as Buddy Pal Guy. And anytime me and my buddies would go there, we'd on the way there would be cracking jokes like Buddy Pal Friend Guy. And he was in a shady part of town too.
Yeah.
And now it's just so easy. You can just anywhere you can just get bud.
It's anywhere, but I don't know how good it is. you know?
Yeah.
The prices are crazy too, man.
Yeah.
I bought weed in Connecticut, and I might buy some in Massachusetts recently because it's legal both places.
Yeah. And Rhode Island now.
And Rhode Island.
Yeah.
Connecticut's gotten more expensive recently. But
Okay.
at one point, I got a 34% THC ounce for $130.
Whoa.
Incredible price.
Holy fuck.
I've never heard of prices like that.
Yeah.
But I was just looking it up in Northampton, Massachusetts, right over the Connecticut border. $68 an ounce for maybe 28%.
That's still fantastic.
amazing.
Oh my god.
And, like,
$68?
Yeah, and back when we were in high school, we would have never gotten 28% THC weed.
No.
So it's like, this is automatically better and for a way better price.
And the ounce was like $200 when I was in
Yeah.
high school.
Yeah.
When you're buying it off the street.
Absolutely.
And it wasn't as good, like you're saying.
Not nearly as good.
You'd get like a homegrown bud.
No, and 200 was lucky.
Yeah.
That was if you
Yeah.
knew a good guy.
Yeah.
It would usually
exactly.
be 240,
Yeah.
something like that.
Something around there.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was always. So did you started smoking weed in high school?
Yeah, 16.
Yeah.
Right
that's-
after a breakup.
That's right. Okay.
I started before that. That's when I started smoking every day.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember two of my buddies, like when I really started getting into weed in high school.
Yeah.
Two of my buddies on the wrestling team, because I was in the wrestling team, but I tore my labrum
Yeah.
in my shoulder, and it never really got back. I mean, it's good now. It's really good now.
Nice.
It's almost as strong as this one.
Yeah.
But then I also didn't understand the severity of a labrum tear.
Yeah.
Like that's professional athletes' careers end because they tear a labrum in their shoulder.
Wow.
I had no fucking clue.
That's nuts.
I'm not doing the physical therapy. I'm fucking around. Dude, it would get my shoulder was so loose. I would like it would dislocate in the pool. I would jump in the pool and like my arm if I would jump with my arms out, the pressure would like just pop. It would pop my
Wow.
shoulder out. It was so bad.
Damn, dude.
And so I was like, I can't wrestle anymore. I'll just get high every fucking weekend with those two brothers.
Yeah. Remember the good old days of being in a guy's nuts.
Yeah, exactly. God damn it, I wish I could stick my finger in a guy's ass. Fuck. My shoulder fucked it for me.
So you stop a fight.
Yeah.
It's like a dog.
Yeah. Yeah, and I remember they like came up to me one day, or one of them texted me, and he's like, "Dude, all you do is smoke weed." And it's not like all I was doing. I would do it
Yeah.
like twice a week.
Okay, that's
But
not bad.
it was more than they would do. They would do it like not at all during the wrestling season.
Yeah.
And then after that, like maybe once every few months.
Wow.
So I was getting after it a little bit.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Dude, you're fucking your life up. You're ruining your life. Blah blah blah." And I ended up convincing them at the end that everything is better when you're high.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, we're sitting here talking right now. None of us are high. When you're high, this is way better.
Yeah.
Like, this is way funner. And then shortly after that, they followed suit.
That's hilarious that their argument was like, dude, you're fucking up. Oh, wait,
Yeah.
it's fun? I didn't realize it was fun.
Yeah,
I never
yeah.
realized getting high is a good time. That changes my mind.
Guys, it's the best. They're like, you're a fucking bum. Fucking 6 months later, we're getting baked every day.
That's so great.
Yeah.
Just the idea that you're there like, man, this sucks being high.
I know.
What are you doing, dude?
Yeah. Especially in those days when getting high was like
Yeah. A
those
fucking
early
crazy
times. Yeah.
thing. Were your parents cool about it? Did they ever catch you?
They caught me late.
Man.
I hit it for a while.
Yeah, same. I got caught right away, too, though.
Yeah. My dad saw like some bud shavings on my driver's seat, my passenger seat in my car, and he went to move my car in the morning. And he came upstairs. He's like, "Who's smoking weed in your fucking thing?" And I was like, "Me." Fuck it, Dad. Me.
Yeah.
It was me. And then I remember he's like, after he bugged out and we did whatever, and we ended up talking. He's like, "So you're gonna stop, right?" And I'm like, "No." What the fuck is wrong with you? You idiot.
Yeah, you didn't take away my PlayStation. No.
Yeah. I could get weed whenever I want. Like, yeah, it was a crazy time.
How old were you?
Shit. I still had the little red car. I think I was out of high school. No. I was in high school. I might have been
Man.
18. Yeah, maybe 18, the end of high school.
When did you start?
Around 16 was probably the first time I did it.
Okay.
Yeah. And I remember you might have said the same thing to your parents when they caught you. I don't want to try anything else.
Yeah.
I don't want
yep.
to do anything else, Mom.
Yep.
then you're on a podcast talking about fucking whatever you said earlier.
70 drugs.
MDPVA. Like, I had the craziest orgasm in my life on 16 drugs, and I jerked off. Like,
Dude, it's so funny because my mom, she was like religious, so she was like very against weed.
yeah.
And neither one of them have done any drugs.
Whoa.
Yeah, so they were not cool with it. But nowadays, it's like they know how much I've studied them, and they're like, "Why aren't you going to pharmacy school?"
They don't let you do the drugs, Mom.
Exactly.
They just sell them.
It's like I need to do on-the-field research.
Yeah. Well, see, the thing was, my mom is similar to your parents, where she doesn't really do anything.
Yeah.
She'll have a glass of wine like 3 times a year.
Yeah, same.
But my dad, he got after it.
Crack.
When he was a young man. Well, close. He
Really?
Was yayoing it up when,
Oh,
I was a
wow.
little boy.
Crazy, man.
But then after that, it was just boo. He was a big alkie.
Really?
So his thing was he was scared for me to go down that road.
That's sensible.
Rightfully so. And
Have you gone hard with alcohol?
I like getting drunk.
Yeah, it's fun.
I'm good at not doing it super often.
Yeah.
But just this past weekend I got fucking shit hammered.
Yeah.
Like bad, threw up,
Man.
bad.
That's always when I question it, where I'm like, maybe I shouldn't be doing this.
It just goes down so easy.
Yeah, dude.
What's the movie Old School? When it
I haven't
touches
seen
your
it yet.
lips. Will Ferrell.
Oh, word.
He's like a well-adjusted guy. The plot of that movie is what's Owen Wilson's brother?
Oh.
I forget his name.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, though.
He's the star, and him, Vince
Luke.
Vaughn.
It's Luke Wilson.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Luke.
Luke, yeah. They, him, Vince Vaughn, and Will Ferrell. I forget the exact thing, but they end up living in a house that's like on a college campus, and Luke Wilson, his character just gets broken up with, so they're like, let's make this a party house. We'll get college girls and whatever. And Will Ferrell's character and Vince Vaughn's character are married, so they're like, Vince Vaughn is like the guy who's like, don't get married, keep fucking around.
Yeah.
And Will Ferrell isn't like a well-to-do guy, but he's more well-to-do than Vince Vaughn.
Yeah.
And they have a party, but Will Ferrell's character was known for being a fucking party animal.
Yeah.
So he does
Frank
like
the
a
Tank.
beer. What happened?
Frank the Tank, they call him.
Frank the Tank. Yeah. And he does like a beer bong. And he's like, oh, it's so good once it touches your lips. And then he just goes on a tear.
That's
so anytime
awesome.
I start drinking, I'm like, once it touches your lips, man. Can't stop.
Can you drink a lot and handle it?
Yeah.
Yeah, same, man.
Yeah,
That's
even-
where it's tough.
Even if I took 4 weeks off,
Yeah.
just about. I took like a month off.
Yeah.
And even when I went back, I was like, I can still kind of put this away.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I have the same thing. I rarely drink. I'll drink
Yeah.
hard like 5-6 times a year.
Yeah.
And then but I have no problem holding it down.
Yeah.
I went to Puerto Rico with my family last year, and I just like for a beach day, I just at the hotel poured down 8 shots of like half a bottle of coconut Bacardi, and then the rest of pineapple guava juice. Just in
A canteen.
40-ounce black water bottle, just sitting at the beach, just chugging this down for like 6 hours. And then I got, a pina colada and
Oh,
a
of
couple other
course.
things.
Yeah.
And I was just fucking fine. Like, I don't think people can even tell.
Yeah.
They might think I've had a drink or two.
Yeah.
But I've had like 10.
Yeah. The first show I did in New York before I lived here is I was still living in Rhode Island. I came out to do a show at Stand Up New York. And afterwards, we all went out and had a good time. And it's my record still of 8 gin and tonics.
That's a lot of gin and
I had
tonics.
8 gin and tonics.
Man.
I haven't come close.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
I
brutal.
had probably 6 to 8 gin and tonics at a friend's bar that he works at.
Nice.
His girlfriend was bartending, and we were just hanging out, smoking weed in the back.
Yeah.
And she just kept bringing us gin and tonics. I think some of them were doubles. And it was just like, I thought I was fine, but I just kept plowing them down.
Yeah.
Barely got home.
Right.
Got home, was like fine, was going to be totally fine, going to go to bed. But when I wanted to go to bed, I was like, I'm too fucked up, and I might puke while I'm
Yeah.
asleep.
Yeah.
So I just force puked.
Oh, yeah, I do that.
Yeah, I used the force
You
to
gotta.
puke.
Yeah. Puke now, you will.
Very sick, I feel.
Puke. I am your father. damn it, this is a comedy
Fuck you,
podcast.
Dad. You remember that Robot Chicken with Robot Chicken Star Wars?
Yes, yeah, of
Dude,
course.
classic episode.
I hung my head off the side of my bed just the other night, and I was like, I just gotta go puke.
Yeah, it'll happen,
I
man.
remembered this video of Charles Bukowski talking about one of the authors. I forget which author that died choking on his own vomit.
Oh, man.
And he's like, he's not even a professional drunk. When I have a real drunk, I hang my head off the side of the bed. So I'm in this bed. I'm like, what did he say? Don't try.
Yeah, honestly, the one piece of life advice you should take from Bukowski, how to not die drunk.
Oh, Lord. Well, this has been fantastic.
Absolutely.
We're going to wrap this fucker up.
Hell
We
yeah.
barely talked about stand-up, but who gives a shit?
We got some of it out there.
Come see him live. You got a show
Absolutely.
coming up soon, right?
Yes, I
Producing
do.
one.
June 6th, New Haven, Connecticut. I imagine a lot of you guys don't live in Connecticut. If you're lucky, you don't. But if you're unfortunately a Connecticut resident, New Haven, Connecticut, Cafe 9, 8 p.m. Doors open at 7. You can buy tickets online on Cafe 9's website.
Nice. Every time I would go to New Haven, I would go to New Haven to do Dangles,
Yeah,
do the open mic at
I
Dangles.
did the mic there once.
And every time I would get off the train, I would see at least one heroin needle,
Yeah.
and I would take a picture of it and put it on Twitter, and I'm like, beautiful New Haven. Again.
Hashtag Yale.
Exactly. Skull and Bones.
Yeah, really.
Great pizza.
Fantastic pizza.
Well, all right, motherfuckers. Thank you all so much for listening. Nick, thank you again for coming on.
Glad to.
Talk to y'all next week. Peace.